Hi Rakesh, how are you?
All good. How's it going?
I'm really good. Amazing. Have you had a good day so far?
All good. How's your day been?
Yeah, very good, very good. Thank you. Yeah, it's like 9:30 p.m. right now for me, so it's almost
Oh, it's
bedtime.
so whereabout are you?
I'm in Australia, Melbourne.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yes, yes. And Rakesh, thank you so much for accepting my invite and supporting my tribute journey for AR sir.
hmm
Truly, thankful to you for accepting it and then, yeah, supporting my journey. So I'm doing it purely out of love for sir. And there is no monetization whatsoever, no returns,
hmm
absolutely nothing. And really appreciate your humility that you accepted my invite. So thank you.
I would beg to differ there. There is the returns are infinite.
Yeah,
You can't measure them.
very
So,
true.
no, absolutely happy and to be of whatever little I can be.
Yeah,
And thanks for having me over, man. Yeah.
thank you. And congratulations for your autobiography, which just released. And
Oh, okay.
and I'm super keen to read it. The thing is, I tried to look it up to buy it, and of course, I don't think it's shipping to Australia yet, and it's not available on iBook Store on Apple either.
It's on
So,
Amazon.
right, okay, the Kindle version is it?
I think so. There is a print on demand, so it's called a POD, or you can do the digital
Oh, right,
version.
okay,
I know
right,
for sure it's on Apple UK and Apple uh, US. I'm not sure about Australia, but if
right.
there's a way to get there, if not, then just send me your address. I'll send you a copy.
Oh my God, thank you so much. Yeah, I've been very keen to read it since the time it came out, and then yes, so yes, I'll definitely do that.
In fact, AR has done the prologue to the
Oh
foreword.
wow,
Yeah.
beautiful, amazing, so good. Rakesh, look, I've been very excited to talk to you. I have so many things to talk to you about, but I definitely wanted to touch on a couple of things since the recent times. So, Tufan, I absolutely love this movie. It brought tears in various instances in the movie, and I thoroughly loved it. And well, I mean, I really wished Mrinal didn't have to die because I myself couldn't bear her loss, and I was in tears as though she was my own wife and she was gone. And so that's one part, and then of course the climax brought a hell a lot of tears, especially when Fahan wins the thing, and it was it it was amazing. So thank you so much for making that movie.
Yeah, we it was a great journey, and uh, I we enjoyed every bit of it,
Mm,
and the
mm,
process was very uh, enlightening, empowering, uh,
yeah.
learning process. Yeah.
But just out of curiosity, though, was there an alternate option where Mrinal didn't have to die?
No, not really, not really, because for me, I was telling a love story
Yeah,
set in the times we live in,
yeah,
and about the tolerance and intolerance in the society we have. So
yeah,
I'd certainly weave that in.
yeah,
It was important to fulfill the promise
mm, yeah,
even after she was not there.
for sure, for sure. And I absolutely love the part where she goes to collect the license for Farhan, and
hmm
and the way she taps her feet, waiting for her turn to be called in. That was so natural, and I felt like she was absolutely apt for the role. That's what I felt. I mean, just curious to know, was there a lot of research that went in terms of trying out others and then nailing on Brunal?
no, that's it's with every movie and your casting. There's
Mm.
always a process,
Okay,
and then you have to count your blessings if the
right.
right person, you know, because then you don't have to play the role; you have to become the role. And that's
Yeah,
what she did. Yeah.
yeah. and extremely inspiring the way Farhan worked out and stuff like that. And I definitely have to tell you a little thing. So it was sometime in 2013. And just for your background, Rakesh, I am into fitness. I run marathons here and things like that. And I've had a transformation journey. So I used to be a 108 kilo guy before, took up fitness, started running, life changed forever, etc., etc. happened. So it's a new life that I'm living. So sometime in 2013, I've done like about 85, 90 odd running races here in Australia. And
Mm-hmm.
I think it was in 2013 where I had signed up for my full marathon, 42.2, and I was nervous as hell. And the day, although I had trained, wasn't great training, but I still had decided that I was going to do the race. And then the day before the race, I I didn't know how to put up with the nervousness that I had, and I kept thinking about various things. And then I decided, you know what, I'm going to watch Bag Milka Bag. And you have no idea the impact that hit had on the day before the race and on the day of the race. And I absolutely loved it. No doubt about it. It was so inspirational again, and it. I had so much positivity that I can do well on the race day, which I did. And then the tracks from Bag Milka Bag was on my playlist as I was running, and it was so helpful in me achieving the goal that I had set for myself. So I thought I had to tell you this because it has had such a big impact on my fitness journey.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So thank you so much for making it. And so I mean, yeah. So I still play those tracks, and I have watched the movie a number of times, to be honest. Especially on the days before I have races and stuff, because it motivates me to stay positive and gives me the conviction that I can do it. So I thought I should let you know.
Yeah, no, it's amazing how your favorite songs and your favorite book,
Yeah.
uh, or your favorite movie, how it can work in so many different ways.
Yeah, indeed. And then also I still remember on that day when I reached the finish line, when I did 42.2, I was in tears. And then the remix version of Bag Milka Bag, the title track, was playing then when I was at the finish line. So that's the sort of impact when I really needed something it has had on me. So I thought I should definitely share this with you. And I had never dreamt back then that I would be talking to you in a few years' time. So, and Rakesh, and then also look, moving on slightly, Rang De Basanti is a movie that's extremely close to my heart, and I have watched it so many times that I have lost count of, and I watched it as early as sometime last week as well. And I have so many things to talk to you about this movie. It's an amazing classic. But before I dive into that, you might remember one of my very good friends called Aditya Modi from Sir's team.
Hmm.
He specifically said, do mention to Rakesh ji that if he does remember the cab narration in London.
Yeah.
Did you want to share anything about that? Because obviously I don't know anything about it. He said just mention that, and he will have some nice stories to tell you.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. No, with AR, it's it's I just talk about the stories I have to tell, and then leave it with him for
Yeah.
it to percolate, for it to manifest itself, for him to interpret in any and which way he wants to,
Mm.
and it comes to him, and so I I remember he was in London. I think he was scoring for I think Bombay Dreams or
Would have been.
Slumdog or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Bombay Dreams. Yeah, yeah. and he had got a call for Lord of the Rings
Mm.
also, and so he was going to pick up a synthesizer for himself, and we jumped in the same car and traveled. And in the I started talking to him about the film, and late in the night, he even did a track for Rang De Basanti, like a theme track. The story stayed with him, and then I think it was 4 years later, we were finishing the background track, and for the climax, uh, he they're looking for something, and he was, how AR is.
Yeah.
He is he. It's a very lateral way he works, and he was trying something and searching for something, and then he said, "Hey man, you remember we did something in London?" The first sound that came to him after the narration. I said, "Okay, yeah, that should." I don't remember it vividly,
Yeah.
like a note to note,
Yeah.
but yeah, it felt really cool. And so let's. So then we started looking for it. Obviously, it was nowhere to be found. We went through all old hard disk and this, and then I realized that I had taken a copy uh, on my laptop, and it
Right.
was the same laptop I was carrying to Chennai. And somehow I went on a search on that, and it popped up.
Wow.
And that's the track we use when the boys go to the radio station.
Wow.
So that's Adi Modi for you.
For sure. And I mean, I'm just curious to know. Obviously, Sir has given, or let me put it this way: the collaboration between yourself and AR Sir has produced so many classics and then tracks that we listen to every day on a daily basis. I was going to ask you, were you too hard to be pleased for the tracks, and then you got the best out of him?
No, it was always the challenge was choice of too many.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
yeah, while you would get this perfect track and a perfect melody,
Yeah.
and more often than not, we would always work on the melodies first and then find the lyrics,
Yeah.
because AR sings in his own gobbly gobbly manner, and and he invents this phonetics like he did for Delhi Six for Masakali.
Yeah.
And then I went back to the script and named the pigeon Masakali after the track, and then we wrote the lyrics.
Wow.
uh, so yeah, uh, it's a no, it's just that after I we hear something, and anything he creates is magic. That's the
Mm.
beauty of it. It's and then he would the next day or after a week he would say, "Hey, listen to this." I said, "But we already have this. No, you listen to this." So he's never like it's not, to use the word satisfied.
Mm.
It's like okay, we've reached this place, and it's not a job for him. It's not a box you tick and say this song is over. Okay, now my job is done.
Right.
It keeps evolving. It keeps evolving. I remember uh, Slumdog Millionaire was um, uh, he was finishing the soundtrack, and Danny Boyle was in London, and he was or in LA, and AR was in Chennai, and we
Mm.
were working on our film also. And uh, he had finished and given the album, and then he opened it again. So I for the next 3 days I was there, and very happy to see that he was not uh, attempting my songs,
Yeah.
but trying to better which was already out of the world.
Wow.
So that's it's an attitude, and a work of art, uh, like you must have heard, is never finished. Is always kind of snatched away from you.
Mm.
So he doesn't let go, and you have to really like snatch it away from him. And
Mm,
because you're also living in a commercial world, and then the release has to happen.
mm-hmm.
Having said that, the first time you heard it was good enough to go on air.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like, so it was not that I was demanding.
Yeah.
It was just I was exploring.
Wow.
I've never ever stopped the in AR. I found a fellow explorer who a would never want to uh, does not. It's not in his DNA
Right.
to not to be original.
Right.
You
Right.
know, it's easy to say, hey, I want that kind of a song. You know,
Yeah.
hey, I want a song like you did in Roja or Terida, and you know that romantic number, Dil Hai Chota Tha.
Yeah.
So and it's easier to, but there is for when I work with him, there is no reference whatsoever. It's like, let's see what happens. Okay, let's see what happens,
Wow.
and then uh, it's amazing. The process is something else.
Wow.
It definitely made me the filmmaker I am today. There's a huge contribution there from AR, and not just the music.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about the music here. I'm talking about outside the film, the way you approach life and the way you approach your work,
Mm.
which becomes your religion, you know, and that's what you practice. And the connect is spiritual. It's not. It's not. There's no other way to describe.
Mm. Wow. This is just incredible. Wow. I'm actually having goosebumps as you're describing it. And also more from, of course, I want to touch on a number of songs, but before I do that, right at the start of the movie Rang De Basanti, for example, the title credits as it comes up and the background score for that one, it is so addictive, and it has been addictive for so many years for me, and I watched it as of last week, as I just mentioned. It is still so addictive, and I'm sure there must be some memories around on working on the background score, especially. I mean, anything that comes to your mind, not just that part in specific, but in general.
Uh, uh, every day is a memory. Is every day is a milestone. It's not just a memory.
Wow.
It's like a feeling of fulfillment. It's a feeling of completeness.
Yeah.
And you know, normally when you're creatively pursuing something, you always feel incomplete. To
Mm,
feel complete,
mm,
that's a blessing, and that's what AR has made me. Is completed me and my films. It's not just given music, and I I've always felt like, well, when he's scoring for the movie, whether it's background or songs, uh, it's you see the picture, but the soundscape
mm-hmm,
and the design is is like the soul, a soul which you cannot see,
mm.
but you can feel it. I don't even know if you can hear his music. I think you feel his music,
Wow.
and it hits a spot, goes deep down, it stays with you, it does things to you. Uh, there is so much pain in it. There's so much ecstasy in it. There's
Mm.
so much celebration in it, and there's so much pathos. And it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing.
Wow. And was that in a way pushing you to get the right kind of visuals to um, complement the music?
Um, Pushing is another word. It's like it inspires you.
Mm, mm,
it brings the best out of you.
Wow.
So remember we did this song for Delhi 6, Dil Gira Dafata.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think Ash was singing it, and Ash AR wanted a certain voice, which was like more
Mm.
lilting, more blues, more, and
Mm.
to sing a very Hindi song. And Ash didn't know Hindi, so my job was to be the tutor and do one line a day. I think he recorded over more than 10 days or something, the whole song,
Right.
one or two lines a day every day. Like that, because to get the grammar and the pronunciation right. But he felt that this is the voice he needed. For him, voice is not just a voice. It's not
Yeah.
in your face. It's
Mm.
part of the whole thing. It's like another instrument playing.
Yeah.
And so I couldn't stop hearing that song. It was doing something to me. And then whatever you see on screen, which is when the Abhishek, gets up in the morning,
Mm.
and it's actually a dream. He sees the Statue of Liberty next to Jama Masjid in Old Delhi.
Yeah.
And then he opens the door and he's in Times Square. But there is everything to do with Old Delhi going on. There are cows on the road.
Correct.
There's Hanuman flying. There's a procession for Ramlila going on.
Yeah.
It was like the whole song. And then there's the Kala Bandar,
Yeah.
like King Kong. He's climbed the the building out there, the
Yeah.
Empire State Building,
Yeah.
and the boy and the girl are romancing there. So the metaphors were, that's what he makes you do.
Right.
That's what his music brings out in you. So, and I remember I sent him the rough cut with the visuals,
Yeah.
and he loved it. Yeah, he really liked it. That was one of the songs I really wanted to share with him after I shot it immediately,
Right.
because I thought that the visuals and had done justice.
Yeah.
For the first time, I could do justice to any of his songs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Otherwise, it's impossible to match up to what he gives you. Because it looks like, it's like another film. Again, the dances are going on, or again, the same beautiful visuals are happening.
Yeah.
But his music does something more to you.
Right.
And same I felt that more than once, in fact. It's happened to me when we were picturizing Khoon Chala for Rang De Basanti.
Yeah.
And I remember telling him the poetry of Sahil Ludhianvi, खून फिर खून है टपकेगा तो जम जाएगा.
Yeah.
तुमने जिस खून को मक्तल में दबाना चाहा, आज वो कूचा बाजार से आ निकला है. कहीं शोला, कहीं नारा, कहीं पत्थर बनकर. खून चलता है तो रुकता नहीं संगीनों से, सर उठाता है तो रुकता नहीं आईनों से, दबता नहीं आईनों से. जुल्म की बात ही क्या, जुल्म की औकात ही क्या, जुल्म तो फिर जुल्म है आगाज से अंजाम तक. खून फिर खून है, 100 शक्ल बदल सकता है. And he came up with normally for such powerful revolutionary lyrics, you would straight get the 165 piece orchestra in the room, and you'll do a major piece.
Yeah.
And I was completely expecting that. But what AR gives me is a single piano through the film. A very soft song. He treated the most violent part of the film with such grace and such integrity, which inspired me to shoot it in a different way altogether. Wow. I realized it was more about not a plot. It was more about what was going inside those boys and that mother who had lost her son. And they were and the candlelit march. And look what that song did. It brought the whole idea of candlelit march to India.
Indeed, I totally agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's very seminal the way
Mm.
uh, I take his music back and then translate that. Um, we were shooting for Kalbali and we didn't have a song, and it was he was in London, I was in Jaipur,
Right.
and I said, "Hey man, I'd like to picturize this in Jaipur while I'm here.
Yeah.
Though I can do it anywhere else in Mumbai also. So
Yeah.
I'm not so stuck on but I said, but it makes all the sense.
Yeah.
Uh, this location is perfect, and he said, yeah, okay. Uh, and I think he had gone to a nightclub where he heard this performer, and the same night they went to his studio in London and they did Khalbali, which was not the lyrics. So it was Yali.
Right.
Yeah. But the tune was the same.
Yeah.
And because I was not lip syncing any songs, I wanted the songs to be heard and not seen.
Wow.
Uh,
Yes.
uh, and not be identified by the choreography
Mm.
or the superstar who's singing it.
Mm.
But the film was such that you wanted to. I think after a long time, uh, for Hindi cinema, there was a movie without lip sync songs, or it was the first film. There
Agreed.
are times, but normally the grammar is that people sing and dance.
Agreed.
And everybody was quite nervous around me. But when I mentioned it to AR, I don't feel like lip syncing, and I'm not lip syncing anything. In between the shoot, I told him,
Yeah.
and he understood immediately.
Wow.
So, yeah, man, yeah. And he got it. He got it. And while nobody else got that point of it, that part of it, he immediately got it. Yeah.
And where did the Arabic influence come from? Was it from the nightclub?
From AR knows. I don't ask him what his process is. I just react to what happens. And then I still remember the internet connections are not so much. So he mailed something and we had to find a cyber cafe in a crowded street in Jaipur. And
Wow.
I still remember the name of the cafe was Java or something. Those were the new cafes which were open. And to download a 1 minute track, it took us around 45 minutes. That was the speed of the internet and
Whew.
connectivity. And finally it came, and uh, they were downloading it all night trying to connect, and early
Wow.
morning it came and I just heard it, and we just choreographed it on the spot. And choreograph means
Yeah.
the boys were just feeling liberated. They
Yeah.
were like uh, in that moment the lines had blurred for them.
Yeah.
And what a song.
Indeed. Indeed. And the I mean, for that matter, each and every song is like that, to be honest. And as I said early on in this catch up, is you've both your collaboration with Sir has given us classic. Each and every bit that came out of the studio as part of your collaboration is a classic for us.
But the person I'm really jealous of is Mani sir. So how they combine, it's a miracle. It's like I have tears in my eyes when I hear their collaboration and the
Wow.
music form, and there's a tinge of jealousy deep down, but in a very healthy way, in a beautiful way. uh,
Yeah.
yeah, and that also drives you uh, to ask for more, to 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 like a child, you're not satisfied,
Hmm.
and he knows that this child needs, he want more, something more
Yeah.
to be. Yeah, and because that's what he spoils you crazy, man.
Right. Wow. And then, as part of the creative process, is that more like a collective decision or a discussion between yourself and AR Sir to choose who's going to be singing a track? Let's say the title track of Rang De Basanti, Daler Mendi, and whose choice was it?
Um, uh, 100% ARs.
Right.
It's you might come up with suggestions,
Yeah.
but you really don't know whether what's going on in his head. He only knows that. So if I had mentioned, say, a Mohit or a
Mm.
Chauhan for Kunchala,
Yeah.
and then he did Masakali after that, uh, and uh, and Mohit was not singing the popular songs. He was more into indie, but I knew his music
Yeah.
voice from Delhi,
Yeah.
the Delhi boy,
Yeah.
and so was Diler Paji, and
Yeah.
uh, I felt like it's Rang De Basanti and we doing a Punjabi folk, and the tune is full of Punjabi folk, Bhangra, and a fusion.
Yeah.
So how about a rustic? Uh, uh, and he said, yeah, why not? And
Mm.
and that's the beauty of it. And in fact, uh, and so it's always it's you. Very early, I learned
Mm.
in my first film, though I didn't work with AR on that film. I worked with Ranjit Barot,
Mm.
and I used to hear his albums
Mm.
and on a loop
Oh, wow.
while driving and hearing Tirida or and then looking at the name of the singers, and there was Sujata, there's Hariharan, there is people who it's not the top three who you
Mm.
would cast and you would want to.
Mm.
He would just Vasundhara.
Yeah.
So voices would be like it's like how he understands voices, like Ash we use, Mohit, Daler.
Correct.
They were not in the scene there.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
these are big songs. They
Mm.
became big. It's just you have to give it to his vision
Mm.
uh, that he knows. And
Mm.
then you don't question that. You'll have your two bit uh, as a director, but not if what you feel. So my thing is, it's never a suggestion. It's just jamming. It's just talking.
Right.
And we how the songs happen, I don't know. I have no clue. Yes, there's so much of hard work which I can see, but how they happen between us, I have no clue. We just sit, we chat, we watch a
Mm.
movie, we eat food, lovely food from his house, home, and auntie would always send biryani for me and the
Wow.
lovely breakfast in the morning, uh, and just keep talking, having coffee, and talk talk about anything from uh, uh, your favorite things to your childhood to your growing up years, and in between, he would say, like, hear this. And yeah, that's the song we were talking about. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Wow. And also very keen to know any memories that comes to your mind for Lukka Chuppi. It's a very very special song. It brings tears in my eyes every time I hear it. And
No, it was a special moment in the film.
mm,
We didn't have a song there,
wow.
and I had not thought of that there is a song here
Right.
as such.
Wow.
So in my script, I had not written it. Normally, I write the songs in the script, and that this could be a possibility
Right.
out here. Though
Right.
we always organically keep going.
Mm,
And he said, we could do a song here, and there's a funeral procession going,
mm,
and there's a mother who lost his child, and uh, said, okay. So he says, I'm feeling the mother is looking for his son.
Mm.
And he gave me the reference of Where Are You, My Blue-Eyed Boy? And
Mm.
he said, like, it really stayed with him when he had heard it. And he felt there was a similar situation we had in Rang De Basant,
Mm.
almost laterally similar.
Yeah.
And he did this amazing tune, and then we said, who should sing it? So I said, you should sing it. He said, but it's the mother's song. I said, yeah, but you're the son, and the mother could be Lata Mangeshkar.
And that
And
was your choice.
I don't know. It's not. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not my choice, his choice.
Yeah.
And
Or a
who said
suggestion.
it? Yeah, who said it first? We don't know.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
what happened? And that's really not important.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then we approached Lata ji in Mumbai. Came back, spoke to her, and the beauty is, I remember we were going to record on the 15th of the month, and
Mm.
around 5th of the month, Lata ji called me and she said, मैं चेन्नई जा सकती हूँ यार, ना वहाँ पे यार सब। मैंने कहा हाँ 15 को रिकॉर्डिंग है, आप बता दें, आप एक दिन पहले जाएंगे?
Yeah.
नहीं, मैं सोच रही हूँ मैं अभी चले जाऊँ। तो मैंने कहा अभी तो 10 दिन है। अच्छा, मैं 9 तारीख को चले जा सकती हूँ।
Huh.
और I thought she'll have a
Yeah.
lot more things going on and all
Yeah.
that. She went on the ninth, and straight away we were there to receive her, and she came to the studio from the airport. She didn't go
Wow.
to the hotel or anything.
Yeah.
And she said, so give me the song. And then she rehearsed it. Now, this is Lata Mangeshkar rehearsing for AR, and AR is singing the Sargam and the duet with her.
Mm.
And then the day of the recording, she's now rehearsed for 3-4 days. And we are there, and she comes for the recording.
Mm.
And she's petite. She has her braid is almost below her knees. So cute, absolutely. And so the mic was fixed for her to sit. There was a bottle of water, warm water, a bouquet of flowers for her, and the mic set. The chair was there.
Yeah.
And then she says, "वो रहमान साहब, आप mic को हम थोड़ा ऊपर कर सकते हैं?
Wow.
I'll stand up and sing this." Yeah, okay. Now, everybody has his own thing. For the next 8 hours, she didn't sit down, even if the chair was there. Even in between takes, she would not sit down.
Wow.
And it is, what does that do to you? And that's how Lukka Chuppi happened. The thought was born out of AR. He interpreted a certain sequence in the film where there was no song.
Mm.
And it was not meant to be. And this came about. So,
Wow.
and it also comes with his connect with his mother.
Mm.
It
True.
also comes to him understanding that the value of mother in this world. So it was an ode to mothers, actually,
Mm. Yeah.
and to a lost son, to a warrior.
Very true.
Yeah.
And it always brings tears, Rakesh. I mean, even today, if I listen to it, tears just start rolling down. And I couldn't really tell why. And that's what his music does.
Yeah, they're tears of joy.
Yeah.
That's when you can't handle so much joy.
Mm.
The joy expresses itself in tears. And that it's the purest emotion. There's no other emotion purer than crying. And when you're not crying in sadness, but you don't know why you're crying, and when the tears started flowing, it
Mm.
is, I think that is, you hear Beethoven and you'll cry. You'll hear Mozart, you'll cry. You'll hear some great music of Naushad and you'll cry. So it's something. That's why I always felt with AR, it was not just a collaboration, it was like a soulmate whom I had found.
For sure. For sure. And similar track, Rehna Tu. I would kill myself if I don't ask this about this track, and such a magical track, and it has done wonders, and it is one of those classic tracks which will be on the top five for every ARR fan,
What a
and
song.
especially the way it ends is even more magical with the Continuum board. I'm just curious
Yeah.
to know about the creative process for that particular song. I'm sure you must have some memories for it or milestone.
Memories. Yeah. Yeah. Uh, I think one evening, late night, it was pretty late night. He was working for some other director.
Right.
And I told him I'll see you like later, which was
Mm,
like around 2 in the morning or
mm,
something.
mm.
So, so I came back to the studio around 2 or something and said, "Hey, let's have a coffee." And I told him, why I'm making this film is is there are so many wounds
Mm,
out there in the society, and what I really want to do is, and there's so much of intolerance in the name of religion. So
mm,
just want to show the mirror. Just want to keep a mirror and say, uh, if, look at yourself and you'll find your answer. You'll find your Allah. You'll find your Bhagwan in
mm,
that mirror.
mm,
And these wounds which are there, normally we scratch them. I don't want to scratch them. We want to put a soothing balm on them.
mm,
That's why I want to make this film.
mm.
And he's quietly hearing me, and I'm blabbering and I'm talking. And I'm just talking, doing nothing. Not talking about a song that I want a song or anything. Or Rehna Tu. I'm trying to talk to myself as to what's my reason of making this film?
Mm,
And why the hell am I making this film? And why it's not important to make films, you see.
mm,
If you don't have a film, the world will not collapse. If the
mm,
sun doesn't rises next day, there will be darkness. But if there's no film, there's no problem.
mm.
And all. So and there was this piece of, I thought it was a table because it had nothing. It had no strings. It had no frets. And he said, and his fingers just went onto it and he started playing it.
Yeah.
I said, "Hey, what's that?" That's an instrument. He said, "Yeah, it's a continuum, and it's like," said, "it's almost closest to a human voice."
Oof.
But he said, and and we kept speaking about the film, and he kept doing things to it,
Yeah.
and the song just came out in the next like half an hour.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, it just happened like that. Whereas when we were doing Arzia,
Yeah.
it's
I
the
was
first song I wanted for Delhi 6. It was
right.
Mora Piya Ghar Aaya.
Yeah.
Kind of a thing because here was the hero of the film Abhishek who was
Mm,
coming back from the US to the roots he belonged to.
mm.
And I kept saying, it all starts in Jama Masjid and during Eid, and
Yeah.
there is this Sufi Mazar in the gully he lives. That's where I grew up in Old Delhi. So
Yeah.
the memories are very vivid for me.
Yeah.
And I was born and brought up there. And he's half Hindu, half Muslim. And the thing is that, we have, again, I used to talk about these um, uh, that there is this bigger light, a bigger energy,
Yeah.
which we are all part of,
True.
and that needs to shine.
Mm.
Uh, and we did the track. I was shooting the film. We didn't do the track, sorry. We did the entire background music. We did the entire songs, the whole album of Delhi Six. And I thought, okay, Arzia is not happening.
Right.
Uh, we didn't even know it was Arzia.
Right.
And so one of these days, he just went, and I think he woke 2 o'clock. He said he's feeling sleepy or something, and he went to sleep. And then 4 o'clock, he woke up in 2 hours. That's all he needs. And it came in his dream after a year and a half, the tune. And he came out and he said, he played something on the piano. And he said, I just dreamt this. So I thought I'll just, before I forget. And that's Arjun.
I can't believe this. Oh my
Yeah.
God.
And it's the first song I requested. And it was after finishing the whole film, editing it, background is that we got. And then I re-edited that portion.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's the beauty. And same thing with the Rubaru Roshni.
Yeah.
Sala.
Yeah.
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 It's like no song. It's the climax of the film going on. Gunshots are going on. People are dying. They've gone on the radio. So you should be hearing all 100 violins and drums and all that tension is going on.
Yeah.
Commandos are firing at them. And then he gives me Rubaru. Because the boys, I just told him the boys have confessed and they're feeling light.
Yeah.
And they've seen the light. And now they're going to merge into the ultimate light, which is they're going to pass on. The journey is going to carry on from here. They're all going to die. And they'll go to the next plane.
Wow.
And so he did Rubaru Roshni. And uh, Naresh Young
Naresh.
Iyer,
Yeah.
what, he used to come visit. He was not even called for the song. And he said, hey, Naresh, just sing this. And that's it. It happened. It was not like Naresh's first song or something. I don't know. I'm not sure. He got a national award for it.
He did. He did.
Yeah, yeah.
And was it during the same time when, or same visit to the studio is when he sang Tu Bin Bataye as well? Or was that song he was called
No,
for?
that was later or something.
That was later. Right.
Yeah, yeah.
That's another classic song. Any memories at all? I'm sure every song would have memories for Tu Bin Bataye.
Tubin Bitai, I was not there for the sessions
Right.
as such.
Right.
I don't think I was there for the session.
Right.
He had gungun out the tune to me over the phone as such.
Yeah.
And I needed a song there. And yeah, then we got the song uh, and then we heard it. And
Yeah.
it was to picturize it. I did feel like I didn't have to do anything. I just told the boys, you run from here to there. That's a song. Just hang on, look up at the sky, look at the clouds, point to the plane. Done. Just sit in a khopcha and, you're just propose to her. Just maybe you can kiss each other and the other boys can make fun of you. That's it. You don't have to do anything. If you see, it's minimalistic because I didn't want to obstruct
Yeah.
the song there. I haven't had so much fun in picturizing songs. Then it's like, and it's so dynamic because it's an audio-visual medium, and 50% is audio and 50% is. That's how I look at it.
Yeah.
And I think audio is far more dynamic, always.
Yeah.
Uh, uh, and it's because it is while visual is very strong for you,
Mm.
uh, the audio enters your consciousness
Mm.
in a different way. The impact is like it's like if imagine a river flowing and
Mm.
is raining, so the rain goes into the water, but you do and then when the flood comes and when it overflows, you don't know it's the same water. So that's how his music melts into the river,
Wow.
and it becomes one. You don't even know when it happens.
Wow. Amazing. I've never heard anyone describe his music to this level, Rakesh. I mean, I have no words.
I haven't rehearsed it to be honest. I don't know. It's just
Wow.
you just touched upon such a beautiful part of journey of my life, and it just came back to me. And now, uh, uh, when you've lived it for 16 years and
Yeah.
10 years, these movies are and the songs are only growing,
Correct.
and the movies are only growing.
Mm.
Uh, Most certainly, me and AR, we have never made a film for the Friday. Never ever.
True. True.
Yeah, but and it's they happen to have matlab,
Mm.
raised the bar and
Mm.
done well at the box office. That's another story.
Mm.
But that was not the driving force for it. It was not like एक hit गाना बना दे.
Correct.
So
Correct.
कभी भी वो ऐसे अप्रोच किया ही नहीं हमने अपने
Right.
म्यूजिक को और फिल्म को ही नहीं किया.
And that's so evident. And of course, look, on a lighter note, and I'm sure you would agree with me, Sir has a very, very wicked sense of humor. So I would like to hear if there's anything that comes to your mind with any of your interactions with him, and you must have cracked. He's always in his Zen mode, that's number one. And then any stressful situation per se, he usually cracks something and then makes it lighter. So just wanted to hear it from you, that's all.
All the time. Yeah. We've never had a stressful situation. That's the beauty.
Yeah.
And when we are in the room, let me assure you, there's enough air in the room. It's like so windy. It's and fresh air is coming in and out. It's like it's a room which has no walls, only windows. And it's his humor that keeps it like that.
Right.
And it's not uh, humor that is pointed
Yeah.
at anyone,
Yeah.
even by mistake.
Correct.
And is it's not even self-depreciating.
Mm.
It's not there to prove the humbleness of the man or something.
Mm.
So it's not English humor.
Mm.
It's definitely not Indian humor. It's far away from American humor. I don't know what it's AR humor. Yeah, and it's also I think where it comes from is he's connected to the universe,
Mm.
and it's a large universe.
Yeah.
And I've always believed, and I've spoken to him that I've told him I'm absolutely sure I have clarity in my head. We are not alone. It's not possible. My scientific and logical mind tells me that if there's one planet called Earth in one solar system,
Mm.
it's really not possible with millions of solar systems and billions of planets out there, and we are not alone. So, idea is to remain connected to, and he's always, and his humor comes from there, I think. It's not a topical humor. It's a way the existence is.
Yeah, of course. And also, just wanted to touch on, of course, as part of the journey that you've had with Sir, the interactions and the experience that you've had working with his team members as well, like the likes of Aditya Modi and everyone else who would have been part of. Just wanted to hear if there's anything that you would like to share. I'm sure they would like to hear it when they watch this when it comes out, and it'll bring a smile. That's all.
And it's absolutely fab. It's like the energy in the room is no one is working, number one. Yet they haven't slept for 48 hours. And it's like this is it. This was the reason why I was born, or this is the reason I'm meant to be. And I felt that with Srini so much.
Right.
And we lost him early, but it was like we were buddies outside the room and just talking, and all the time. He would leave after AR and come before AR, and nobody can do that.
Wow.
Is impossible. So if AR is working for 18 hours, he's working for 20. Aditya Modi was so young, I remember, and he's still so young in his heart.
Yeah.
And it was like there's always a twinkle in his eyes. And he was the quietest of the lot. Then, and at the same time, to understand his music and then balance it out and then do things, and because he would let you do things, he'd never overpower your judgment. And and so the Aditya, I remember, he taught me about speakers. I have no clue about technology. I'm the antithesis of A.R.Rahman, and completely. So he would tell me why this smaller speaker and why this new one and what this board is all about and what is a euphonic and what are these waves floating out there. And I'm amazed to actually see music on the computer. So, it's fascinating. It's like a video game.
Yeah.
And it's like things are going up and down, and then green lines will merge into red lines. And it's like a heartbeat, it's going on. And they know exactly.
Yeah.
And then there's Super KJ. KJ Singh was like, wow. In fact, I just spoke to him last week, and we keep speaking.
Right.
And they are a part of AR's universe. They're a part of the bigger family. It's not, I was the sound engineer for A.R.Rahman. It's not in my pro forma or profile. I worked on, Ajoda Akbar, or I worked on Swadesh.
Yeah.
It's not like that. I worked on Roja or Bombay. That was not the story. The story was something is going on. Some magic is happening. Some chemistry is going on. Some chemicals are being put into the test tube, and some blast is happening, and you're getting blinded by things, and sometimes it's happening, not happening. And they always knew one thing, that whatever they do is never finished. I think that's what they shared in common, the understanding that it's not over because tomorrow is going to change. It's going to evolve, not change.
Yeah.
So that's another thing with AR, that change is constant. It's not about I need to change something or evolve it. It is the way of life,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that's how it is. Uh, the beauty was that even though I was then remixing the film, and the engineers are not, they, you've given the background, you've
Mm.
mixed it, you've given the stems.
Mm.
That's how the process works. You've
Yeah.
given the songs,
Yeah.
and it goes to a remixing theater, which is somewhere altogether different.
Right.
But they would come to the room and hang out there also, and they would own the film.
Wow.
Yeah, and I would talk about my edit points with the engineers. I would talk about the editing pattern, whether do you think I need the scene. So we were talking about the overall thing.
Wow.
So with AR, I've not discussed the music. I've always discussed the script,
Mm.
always discussed the thought. What do you feel? Uh, and yeah, he would in his own silent way say a million words.
Yeah, of course. Right. And Rakesh, coming towards the end of the podcast, just conscious that I don't want to hold you up on your other schedules. But before I let you go, for sure, there's one question that a number of fans have messaged me since the last few days, since I told them that
Mhm.
Rakesh ji is coming on the podcast, is well, their question was, why did you stop collaborating with AR Sir? Why aren't we seeing that magic anymore? When is it happening again? Is the $1 million question.
No, we never stopped working. It was just uh, like a pause thing, and uh, when I was doing like Bhag Milka Bhag,
Hmm?
and uh, we went to I remember I went to Long Island, and he had a tour there, and his shows were going on. And that time, I think he was playing in New Jersey or something.
Mm,
And I asked him what's the stint like, and it was a long tour. It was like a 3 4 month
mm,
long tour, and then there are some commitments in Hollywood.
right,
So he just took a right turn and he explored something,
right.
and I took a left turn and I've explored something, and then you'll come and you'll turn, and my next film we are already working on the music right now. It's a amazing film. I'd like to share that I'm working on a subject which involves mythology. It's set 5,000 years ago,
Wow.
and I've already narrated to AR, and um, we can't wait to like get the sessions going. So as
Wow.
we speak, that's the beauty. Yeah.
You have made my day. I think I can sleep easy after this for sure.
Mhm.
Because I mean, you have no idea. Because of the magic of your collaborations with Sir that has been created, we as fans, as music listeners, and fans of Sir, fans of yourself, we're craving for such creativity and such magic to happen again.
So you can very very easily, uh, if we were playing tennis or
Yeah,
let's say volleyball,
yeah,
because it's a team sport.
yeah.
So here there is a net, and on this side of the net is AR. On the other side of the net, I'm with you. I'm in your team. I'm as much waiting for that. So that's it. Yes, and now he's. I think he should be having like 8 or 12 hands so to play with all of us. So he said, yeah. So it's such a nice feeling, and fingers crossed. I hope everything falls in place. This has fallen in place, but movies are such things.
Correct.
There many a slip between the cup and the lip. You're making on film, and
Yeah.
Then it gets held up for a year. That's not such a big deal.
Yeah.
And especially with a subject like this, which is deep down in mythology,
Yeah.
uh, lovely subject to deal with.
Mm.
It will be amazing.
Wow.
And I can't wait to see how AR is going to interpret. It's an extreme, it's a wild script,
Wow.
and it will be fun. It will be fun to see what he does. Yeah.
Oh my God, Rakesh, I just feel like quitting my job here in Australia and just coming over and then being part of the team as part of the creative process, or at the least just going and getting chai for all of you. And I would like
No,
to do this.
that's my job on the music session anyway. So since I'm doing nothing, the only way I make myself useful is to make coffee and tea.
Right. And so, Rakesh, it's been an absolute pleasure having you in this journey. I'm going to treasure this podcast for the rest of my life, and I'm sure your fans, Sir's fans, and everyone are going to treasure this. And thank you so much for supporting my journey. And I have no words to say. But before I let you go, though, as part of this podcast, I would like you to please share a message for AR sir via this podcast. I know for the fact that you can always give him a call and then tell him what you feel like. But I would like you to share something via this podcast, and I will share this clip to him.
Yeah.
So if you can, please.
Yeah. It feels very funny to give a message to you, AR, but it's I can't wait to be in Chennai in the music room and once again just be that fly on the wall and just see the magic happen and the miracles happen. And it's amazing. So please quickly clean your schedule and make time.
Amazing, great. Thank you so much, Rakesh. And then, so I would like to please take a knee selfie before I let you go, if that's okay. So you can stay as you are and just look at the camera, and then I will grab a picture from here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And at the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Right. And that is great. Rakesh, thank you so much once again for being so kind to support my journey. And then as a little thank you, I would like to please send you a t-shirt. That's just my way of saying thank you for your very valuable time to support my journey. And hopefully whenever you see that t-shirt or when you wear it, you'll remember this crazy guy in Australia who is hardcore fan of ARR and does these crazy things and brings a smile. That's all I want.
Lovely. No, I'd love to wear the t-shirt.
Thank you so much. I'll specially design a couple of them and send it to you. And so that during your next music session with Sir.
You design t-shirt?
I do it, yes.
Send me white color.
Oh, white. Okay, done. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, you're okay. Perfect. Yes.
I have only white, but you can do what you like. Yeah, it's okay. But
It is going to be a white. It is going to be a white. Yeah. Thank you so much, Rakesh. And then looking forward to seeing you in person whenever the Australian borders open and I make my visit to India. And hopefully the timing works out well and it aligns with your music sessions with Sir, so that I can come in and say hello to you and make both of you a coffee as a thank you.
Wow, that'd be amazing.
I'll do that. Thank you so much, Rakesh. I'll let you go and have a great evening. Thank you so much.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.